FM. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. That was Christian Stanfill. You can listen to KHEA Radio from anywhere in the world at KHEARadio.com, the free KHEA Radio app, or you can stream with us live on Facebook like we are right now. And on Tuesdays, we have one of the best in the business, Dr. Aaron Chapa, in studio. Good morning, Dr. Chapa. How's it going?
Gardy, good morning to you. How are you this fine morning, my brother?
Yeah, I'm doing great. It's a good day today.
Oh, I'm telling you. Hey, you know what? I got a little surprise for you this morning.
Okay.
This was a gift that one of my patients made for you and wanted me to bring it to you. And so shout out to Miss Tammy Rodriguez. She had you made
Let me see this.
a cool little rag, and it says something really cool on it. If the dude don't move, the dude don't groove. Hello.
Thank you, Tammy.
Isn't that
Thank
rad?
you. I thought it might have been a muzzle because if they're forced to watch me in your office in Leak City, you know, we're on repeat and someone can go sit in there and they can learn a lot back to back to back.
Oh, there's no question. We play KHU Radio every week, every day, and you and I are up there on the TV. It's really funny sometimes. The kids will come in and they'll be looking at the screen, and then I'll pop out the door and they're like,
"Whoa!"
Like, they're really confused for a second. They're like,
"You're him."
Wait a second. I mean, they literally have this like, this is weird. Like, how did that happen? And so the parents tell me it's just, you know, kind of comical to watch their kids do that. You know, it's just really cool technology. I mean, I think we're on Periscope, we're on Spotify, we're on iTunes. I mean, there's so many different venues that you can leverage and use. So we definitely encourage people, if you're interested in health, wellness, if you want a resource that is top notch, that is absolutely, you know, cutting edge, we want you to share, be a part of our community, our online presence here with KHEA Radio and more options that we have, you know, to just get this message of health and wellness, vitality, and longevity out to the masses. People need to know that, you know, you can live better, be better, and stay better through food. If you got symptom patterns that you weren't genetically born with, guys, we want you to realize that your body can undevelop anything that it develops. And we get excited about sharing this message because, you know, every month we've been, you know, pretty consistent about creating a theme that we want to focus on. Of course, October, we're getting Immune Month put together because we're going into the flu season, we're going into the fall, we're going into a change of season, and a lot of people struggle during this, whether it's allergens. I mean, ragweed's through the roof right now. A lot of people have been suffering with that. We got the, you know, candy craze coming our way here in just a few 11 days out.
Exciting.
And you know, today's one of those cool days, you know, 10/20/2020, right?
Yes.
And so it's, you know, we're the countdown has begun, and so we've got to be mindful that, you know, a patient told me this yesterday, and I just thought it was really great, that said, you know, God is sovereign and God is always in control, but he won't take control because he expects us to do our part. He expects us to play a role as members of the body. And every one of us has a role to play and a part to play. And I was just listening to a man speak, and his name is Mark Victor Hansen. He's he's written many books, but one particular audio that I've been listening to is How to Think Bigger Than You Ever Thought You Could. And he talks about people that have vim, vigor, and vip. He talks about people that have excitement in their bones and they feel health and they're energized through and through, down to the cell and the core of their being. And he said that people that are more energized are going to be obviously more productive, more attractive, more valuable in today's modern world on a lot of fronts, on a lot of levels, in any way that you can imagine. And so health is an absolute paramount place for you to be. And we want you to recognize, you know, like I believe it's in 1 Corinthians 3:16, is, you know, said we are the temple of the living God. Do you not know that you are the temple of the living God? You know, and Romans 12:1, I beseech thee, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your what, Gardy? Reasonable service. Not your, you know, extraordinary, outrageous, unreachable, unattainable goal or duty. It is your duty to steward health into your life, recognizing that the better you feel, the better you will perform for the Lord, for your family, for your work, for all aspects that you have to, responsibility take on as an adult and as a parent and as a human that is experiencing this wonderful life that we have.
So the show today is titled, and I love this, 5 Things Anyone Can Do to Improve Their Life and Immunity. Who doesn't want to be better? Who doesn't want to be able to get the things done that they need to get done, and then get things done that they want to get done, and then get things done that they didn't think they would ever be able to get done? That's always my prayer and my goal. Like, I want to get things done that I didn't think I'd have time. I didn't think I'd have the strength. I didn't think I would have the knowledge to do. And that's my daily prayer.
And I think that we're going to tackle that. So all this month, so again, if you know somebody that could benefit from this type of information, share this, like this, a comment on this, help us expand the reach, because you guys you're a tribe. I mean, you guys are faithful, loyal supporters and followers, and we're appreciative and thankful. And we always want to be a voice in your life, because we know that when people stick to the program, when people follow through with the recommendations that we teach to the best of their ability, and they give it the ample adult time frame, but if you've been sick 17 years and expect to be well in a week, that's not a realistic experience, right? I mean, it takes time to unravel the web that you've weaved. And that's okay, as long as you know how to play the game. And we teach people how to set these goals and how to have healthy expectations. But we expect your body to respond inside of 30, 60, 90 days. But to truly go through the healing and observation period and the supportive care phase, it takes 7, 8, 9 months to really go through the cellular cleansing experience. And we find tools like our detox program that can speed that process along, our sequential immune programs that can build you and strengthen you and support you in ways that haven't been supported in years. And just like, I think God's plan, he's in control, but he's not going to take control. It's your life, it's your health, and I know it's painful, bitter pill to swallow, but it's your choice. Gardy, it's your choice. You got to make a daily choice. My wife was so excited when she drank, her daily allotment of water, and she goes, Aaron, I drank all my water today. What? And I said, that's awesome, honey. She goes, well, what does that mean? I said, it means you get to do it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, shut up, and she said the other day she started this exercise routine, and she goes, man, I feel so good. I mean, do you think I'm getting anything out of it? And I'm like, well, obviously you said you feel so good. And remember what I always say, if the dude don't move. And she goes, I know, the dude don't groove. You know what I mean? But here we go.
Got it right here on my shoulder.
And you guess right. Mm-hmm. And so your immune system is the same. So you have to put your immune system into a sparring realm. And the idea that we kind of live in right now in the last 8 months is we can hide from viruses. We can hide from bacteria, that we can suppress the bug's effect on our bodies. And that is not the model that your body operates in. Everybody knows, and if you know the answer, go ahead and type it in. If you don't use it, you
lose it.
You lose it. And so nobody wants to lose good health. And so when babies and children never, ever, ever get sick, they never experience a high fever, whether they never experience it or you suppress the symptom, you are sabotaging, or they're sabotaged in their ability to learn and adapt to life's challenges and stresses. Everybody's body, mine included, yours included, has to go through some level of stressors. We call that hormesis. Isn't that a cool word?
Say it again.
Hormesis. And hormesis is a term that is a healthy stress that creates adaptation and change. If you have chronic stresses, it can cause a too much adaptation that causes too much decline, that causes your body to fall, to shift into a state of accelerated aging. Accelerated aging is not what we're after, and in managing those chronic stresses has to be handled. But to not have any stress on the body, to never go through a challenge, is not at all what the body's been designed to do. Your immune system, when we're working with a healthy immune alliance, we've got to recognize a healthy immune system is really a healthy immune alliance, which is all consistent of a healthy body. many parts working together. Which part of the watch tells time? We reduce burdens while enabling the body to handle symptoms that are trying to tear us down and the challenges. We rebuild the body's tolerance against foreign invaders. So like when you're exposed to a virus or a parasite or a fungi or a bacteria and you get a fever, you, instead of suppressing it with medications, you want to amplify it. You want to give the body resources to tackle the source of the fever, not suppress the fever. So instead of looking at the fever as a bad guy at 101 to 103, that's prime time for killing. That's when your immune system is its best. That's when the immune system thrives. That's when the immune system is operating at 165 times the speed that it normally operates in order to go strategically figure out that bug, figure out that pathogen, and deal with it in such a way that your body can, 1, learn, and 2, strategically mount its own defense, and 3, set you free from the symptom. So what do? Well, you supply the immune system with food and nourishment, rebuilding. That's that whole process. And then this allows the body to increase its tolerance to the world around it, and it's learning. It's always learning and adapting. And when we decrease the load of burden on the body, we see the body begin to thrive and develop faster than it declines. And as long as we're developing more than we're declining, we're aging healthily, and we're activating longevity and activating vitality.
So I'm learning healthy stress, and there's a healthy way, and I'm going to write that down, healthy aging. That's pretty cool, too.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So we like this idea, it's some things that you can do to start changing the dynamics of your immune system. So we've been talking the last few weeks about, so if you like the shows, we've been talking about what is your immune system, and then how can we start, exercising the power of the immune system. Today we're going to give you some good application. We're going to call this avoid the 3, 4, 5s like the plague. Okay? And people are like, 3, 4, 5s, okay, what is that? So you have your 3 whites, okay? The 3 whites to avoid, do you happen to know?
The 3 whites?
Yeah. Any whites that you know that you should get rid of?
The first thing that comes to mind was egg whites, but I don't think we should avoid those.
Yeah,
those are ones we want.
We wanted to actually
sugar.
Strike that, reverse it. Yes, there you go. Sugar. White sugar is an avoid. White sugar gives you the sugar blues. White sugar is so adulterated, so chemically altered, it comes in so many shapes and forms that we've got to be mindful that it is a poison. It feeds infection, it feeds cancer, it feeds inflammation, and it causes your body to decline rapidly. That's why they call, sugar the sugar blues. I mean, you go up and you're like, woohoo, and then you crash like, oh.
Sugar crash,
yeah. The sugar crash. And you'll see it in your kids when they, after a birthday party, they just walk out like zombies, like, oh my gosh, what have I done? And you're like, okay, and if you don't know, like what we do when our kids get into that stuff after any party that we go to, and our kids get into sugar and junk food and all the stuff that drives me bananas, we go home and we take gut repair products. I love the product from Standard Process, Cataplex AC, liver stimulation to clear any excess trash and waste, AF beta food. We take Congaplex. I mean, when in doubt, what do we say?
Congaplex it out.
Congaplex it out, brother. I mean, you got to stimulate that immune system in a quick, fast hurry. You know what I mean? And then we take some essential fatty acids to activate, the delivery mechanisms to get that handled. So you come in and you repair the gut, you strengthen the liver, and you put in the brain support and immune support to make sure that the body doesn't crash. And I'm really proud of my kids because a lot of times, they might, at Halloween, for example, they'll have a lollipop in one hand and 5 Congaplex, and they'll chew it. You know what I mean? It's like they're not afraid to taste.
Like while they have the candy, like on that day, they're like, just one candy?
Yeah, there's like both
5
sides.
Congaplex.
And they really have developed, both sides of a palate, extreme sweet one side and bitter on the other. But we find that really helps. So what is another? Well, so recognize that sugar's a poison. That's kind of the message. What's another white we should avoid?
Okay, I'm going to go off my dome, totally not looking at the answer in the comment section that your office put out. Yeah.
Did Molly already drop the answers?
So
Molly.
I'm going to say the 3 whites would be the first one was sugar. Mm-hmm. The second one, if I had to guess, would be an excess salt, a lot of salt.
That's absolutely Dead on. So white salt is definitely a chemically altered product, has no trace elements of value to our bodies. And again, it's been chemically altered. It's not everything that we wanted, and it's in everything. It's in so many different products. It's in your spices, unfortunately. It's in foods. It's in even the bars that you're eating. It's in the Pop-Tarts your kids have access to. It's in their ketchups. It's in their the mustards. It's in everything. If you have sauces, barbecue sauces, if you have any liquid saute, it's in everything. And so much salt into the body causes the body to dry up. It causes neurons to wither. It causes the body to malfunction, and it causes our bodies to retain fluids, and it causes our body to kind of trudge through mud. And so we want to be mindful. Now, is salt important? Of course, there's some value to it as long as you're getting a source that is loaded with trace elements and trace minerals. But many people don't know that. They think that the white stuff is okay. So we include this in the 3 white section, avoid. And then what's the last one? You probably already saw it. Go ahead and throw it out there.
Okay, if I had to guess off the top of my head, it's going to be white flour.
That's it. Gardy, ding, ding. He's got it again. The trio, the 3 whites, he's going to avoid what? Like the plague. And so the white flour is fortified. It's enriched. So like if I reached in your pocket, Gardy, and I took, a $100 bill out of your pocket, and you're thinking, hey, what's going on
there? I got a $100 bill in here?
Yeah, it might. I don't know. But at the end of the day, what if I gave you 25 cents back and said, brother, you've been enriched today.
Even trade, right?
Even trade. I took you 100, and I'm going to give you 25 cents back. And you say, whoa, I don't know if I like that exchange, Dr. Chapa. I said, brother, dude, it's like you're enriched. I mean, this is what you're doing whenever you take these enriched wheat flours, or when you see ingredients like thiamine mononitrate, when you see the refined white flour. We talked about it with Jennifer a few weeks back when we were talking about if you're gonna eat, bread that is gluten-based, find one that's sprouted. Find a better quality, because what happens is when you're getting poor quality ingredients, you're not getting the nourishment that you're hoping for. It's a filler food. It's make-believe food. And this product has been so chemically altered, and we call it food, but it's really Frankenfood. And if you eat make-believe food, Gardy, what do you get?
Frankenhealth.
Frankenhealth. That's right. Make-believe health. That's right. Frankenhealth. And so there's no nutritional value here. So very simply, avoid the 3 whites: white sugar, white salt, and white flour. And of course, number 4, avoid like the plague, is the 4 deadly food additives. Man, I could talk for days about these babies. And so we look at the number 1 thing on our 4 deadly food additives. Partially hydrogenated oils. We got to drop these out of our diet. The partially hydrogenated oils sneak in so many ways. They can take years to be cleaned out of the system. They can clog up your arteries. They can clog up your liver. That clogged up liver, remember, the liver is involved in over 600, Gardy, known pathways. If you knew 600 pathways could be altered and stimulated in such a way that could exercise healthy, strong metabolism, or a healthy, strong immune system, or better quality digestion and absorption, wouldn't you want to take care of that system?
Yes, definitely.
And many people think, unfortunately, that the liver is a filter, and we want to change that. We want you to understand it is not a filter. It is a chemical factory. It is absolutely working to convert dangerous substances into safe substances that can be excreted out of the body through our urine, our poop, and our pee, and our sweat glands.
There it is again.
And we're always looking to weigh. How do we drop that in there?
Right?
Sneak it in there. And I'm going to figure it out. And so partially hydrogenated oils, when you look at on the label, it doesn't say partially hydrogenated oil. It doesn't say trans fat. Sometimes it does. But here's what it does say. It says canola oil. It says soybean oil. It says cottonseed oil, safflower oil. When you see a lot of these things, you're getting into partially hydrogenated oil, and it is classically on any processed food box that you're buying. So a lot of times there's more value and benefit of nutrition in the cardboard that the processed food came in than the actual substance that you're buying and hoping to get nourishment from. And so the second thing that we avoid in the 4 deadly food additives is MSG. This is an extremely concentrated chemical it's called monosodium glutamate. It is a salt. It is a spice. It is a very salty type preserve. But what happens here is it can disrupt neurons' ability to communicate to their brotherly neurons downstream, and ultimately burns out the neurons, and the neurons then malfunction and deteriorate right before your very eyes. And then now brain firing capacity crashes. And then I have to come in with things like complete synapse and total brain and ribonucleic acid and tuna omega in order to strengthen and boost and bolster the brain back up so that we can get the neurological correction of communication downstream to the peripheral systemic system of your body. Because remember, there's more than just a part of your brain malfunctions. Everything begins to malfunction. Your hormones malfunction, your body begins to be disrupted in its ability to metabolize and to, fortify itself and activate those 3,000 enzymes at the fiber of your core. And so we want to make sure that in order to not see decline, remember, we're trying to strengthen your immune system by limiting decline and encouraging what?
Healthy
development,
eating.
Healthy living.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a part of the reduce the burdens, and ultimately we're going to rebuild the tissues with healthy nutrition. And so artificial sweeteners would be number 3 on our 4 deadly food additives. When we get into artificial sugars, these are things like the pink stuff, blue stuff, and yellow stuff that is on your table at a restaurant every time you walk in. And this is known cancer-causing agents, known neurotoxins, neuro meaning nervous system toxin, or aka poison. And when you see these neurotoxins causing decline in your body, you've got to be mindful. You've got to recognize that, man, if some of these things are disruptive to the brain, why would we put them in? So look on your gum, look on your toothpaste, look on your energy drinks, look on anything that says sugar-free, light, anything that says low calorie, anything that insinuates that it's sweet and good for you, but it's not going to have the effect of the glycemic load, means that it's got these artificial ingredients. And you might be asking to yourself, why would these be in our environment? If they're known chemical brain toxins, why would we allow that? Oh, well, they always say follow the money, and that's unfortunately the truth here is this has been, politically pushed through, and it's on your dinner table, and you now have to be a private eye detective and recognize that when you put in the artificial sugars into your coffee, or you put the artificial sugars in your tea, or you put the artificial sugars in your smoothie, or sprinkle it on, a cupcake instead of the sugar that, as a replacement. The reality is you're actually, I don't know which one would be. I think it'd be better to do the sugar, which is avoid the 3 whites, right? But these known neurochemicals are so bad for you that I've seen them create so much brain fog, so much mental fatigue, so much symptoms of fibromyalgia or hormonal disruption, body aches, that it's not worth putting it in your system. So you've got to be mindful, and you've got to become a private eye and look for these on your label.
Two observations. One, a lot of those
you
sweeteners.
Like my smile today? That's the observation.
It is good that you look. I like your shirt too. It's a very nice color. 2 observations. One, whenever you go to a restaurant, which it's on the table, like you said, it's kind of, you don't even have to ask for it. All
That's
those
right.
things are 1, 2, 3 provided. It's like a given. Most people may not. I don't know. I guess tea, like in the South, or tea anywhere. It's like, oh, I need this for my tea or whatever. It's already there. The second thing is orange juice. Sometimes they have like lower calorie orange juice, or it's orange juice light. I know orange juice isn't the best option to drink because it is very sugary,
Processed.
and processed and everything else. But whenever you see like a light orange juice, do they artificially sweeten that somehow?
We just got to look on the ingredients. And so thankfully we're still in a place where they have to label that stuff. But typically when you see the word light or sugar free, there's no question it's going to have one of these 3 deadly sweeteners in there, which is the sucralose is the yellow stuff, aspartame's the blue stuff, and saccharin's the pink stuff. Saccharin, the pink stuff, used to literally have it in the warning on the back of the thing. This has been known to cause cancer in rat studies. Now, how they got it off the label, it befuddles me. But I mean, we don't know what we don't know, and we don't appreciate how lobbyists work in order to get stuff passed and why they care so much to get stuff like that removed. But again, it's all about somebody's making a profit off of your ignorance, and I want you to be smarter than that. That's why we have this show. That's why we educate every month and every day in our office that we're working. Like next Tuesday night, I believe. Let me just double check my date. Is going to be our immunity class is October 27th, 6:30. You know why we put it at 6:30 on October 27th, Gardy?
I'm going to say so people have time to get there.
Well, not only that, but it's 4 days before the big day.
The big day. It's Sugar Day.
We are preparing you to go to battle against the sugar craze. And one thing, I also would say, not just the Cataplex AC to repair the gut, not just the F-beta food to decongest the liver, not just the Omega Force to strengthen, the healthy fat load that your body needs, and the Congoplex to strengthen you, but also Cataplex B Core, which is fantastic for managing the sugar spike, so you don't go up and then crash so hard, and you don't get that temper tantrum, and you don't get that rough next morning, kids not wanting to, cooperate with you. You know what I mean?
So here's a question. This is from Jody. Good morning, Jody.
Hi, Jody.
She said, what sweeteners are okay? Coconut, palm sugar, monk fruit sweetener. What's okay?
Okay, good question. Great question. And I would say that the ones that you listed, the coconut sugars would be okay. Monk fruit's okay. Stevia is best. Stevia is a 2,000-year-old Peruvian herb. It has no cause of spike in blood sugar, and it does not stress your body. It is an herb. It just happens to taste sweet. And so we use this more than some of these others. But monk fruit has been relatively popular, and it's more sweet than normal sugar, so you don't need as much of it, and you don't get that spike. When you look at you can overuse these coconut sugars and these other sugar sources. But the reality is they're going to be a better quality because they've been less adulterated. They're not going to fall under the white sugar mantra. Erythritol, an alcohol sugar, xylitol, another sugar that has been very popularized and still valuable. Xylitol being a 5-carbon compound instead of a 6-carbon compound like your table sugar, so it's less sticky. And the cool thing is the strep mutans, the little bacteria that cause the dental decay in our mouths, cannot digest xylitol. So when you look at the label, now you see xylitol on the label, like I've seen gums that advertise, we use xylitol, but then you go look at the ingredients and xylitol is indeed there. But guess what else is there? The artificial sugars. So you got to make sure you buy one. Spry gum is a really common gum that we use. Spry toothpaste is a SPR AY, I think, is ones that we use in the office. A lot of times you got to be careful with some of these alcohol sugars because they can disrupt your tummy. They can give you a little bit of diarrhea or upset your stomach, make you a little gassy because your body probably hasn't seen some of these sugars before. And again, these are healthier alternatives, but understand that they are not staples. They are substitutes. But we've got to be working at developing a palate that is conducive to not only reaching to sweet satisfaction. We've got to develop the sour. We've got to develop the salt. We've got to develop the bitter so that we can experience the savory.
What natural things are sour? Like, what are some sour options? I always think of candy. That's what I think of.
Yeah, like your sour would be in the category of like your some of your citrusy type of things or peels. That are in the rinds of things. Okay. And but sour is one of these. Sour and bitter have a digestive and lymphatic drainage appeal to the body. So when you put bitters in, and that could be dandelion, it could be artichoke, it could be asparagus, it could be Brussels. They have an effect on digestion that really improves enzymatic activity and activating your enzymes and keeping your enzymes healthy and whole, and not putting in. See, when you put in all the processed food, there is no enzymes, right? I mean, they've boiled them out and they've contaminated them, and so your body has to do all the work, and you wear your body out doing that. When you take in food-based substances that are in the category of sweet, bitter, salty, sour, these things that are naturally coming into the body have enzymes themselves, assuming that you haven't boiled them or overcooked them out. And so we want to be looking at those. But, just for these alternatives, we just got to pay attention that, these three artificial sugars are well known to disrupt the body. So right now, some of these other alternatives that have been mentioned here in the thread, these haven't really been adulterated to the effect that these have. And these are just not even foods. I mean, these are chemicals. They just happen to taste sweet. And somehow somebody convinced us that sprinkling, a chlorinated hydrocarbon all over our, fruit was a good idea. Last time I checked, chlorine loves to oxidize things and disrupt things. And that's not something that we want to do. And when you put these toxins in your body, it demineralizes you. So now your bones get weak, your immune system gets weak, your body starts falling apart too rapidly, and then people wonder, I can't get my minerals up. Well, they don't even know that have mineral problems. I got Charlie horses and cramps. I've got aches and pains and in my legs, feet, arms, and hands, and my head hurts, and I feel just mentally, challenged, and I get headaches, and these are signs of mineral deficiencies. And your hair is falling out, my skin is wrinkly, and the elasticity is not there. These are signs and symptoms of mineral decline and essential fatty acid weakness. And we can support that. We rebuild that in our office, going back to the whole Healthy Immune Alliance. We reduce the burden, we rebuild the tissues, and which allows your body to learn how to fight strategically. And then the last of our 4 deadly food additives is high fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup is a highly, highly, highly pressurized, processed, sweetener that's otherwise known as crystalline fructose. So make sure you look for that secret name, because they never advertised it. There was a big push just a few years ago trying to, re-educate people that corn is good for you and corn sugar is good for you, but it is not. It was just, a marketing ploy trying to brainwash people that it's okay to use this cheap artificial chemical that tastes way too sweet, that causes such a massive spike that it stresses out insulin, it stresses out beta cells in your pancreas, it stresses out cortisol pathways. I mean, it just wrecks your body, and not a healthy alternative. You see this on the label, might as well put it down, throw it out, kick it to the curb. Don't even finish the box. If you got 14 left, throw it away. You're doing yourself a service to get rid of it, not to, well, I bought it, I got to eat it. No, you don't. If you want to eat make-believe food and you want make-believe health, then you can go ahead and indulge. But guess what? In the beginning, people spend all their health to attain wealth, and in the end, they spend all of their wealth to attain just a little bit of health. We don't want what Dan Sullivan quoted to be true for you. We want you to start planting your oak tree today. We want you to pluck the weeds out that are contaminating your body and reduce these inflammatory burdens. And guess what, brother? We still got 5 more things that you got to avoid like the plague.
So it's 3, the 4, and now we're at the 5.
At the 5. I know you're thinking, my gosh, that was a seminar in and of itself. But here's the deal. If you don't know, you don't know. And we've got to educate you. We got to bring you up to speed. We got to teach you this stuff so that you know and you're more equipped to go out and strategically shop for your family, go out and make better choices and decisions. And guess what? The less you buy of this stuff, the more the other things will start coming up that you are buying that you'll have more access to, and it'll change prices. And this is how we get things to move in our favor, is being educated, not resting in ignorance. So we've got to make sure that I know everybody loves the whole little platitude, ignorance is bliss, but ignorance should also kill you, and so we've got to be mindful. Okay, so the 5 deadly food additives, or 4 deadly food additives, and now the top 5 inflammatory foods that we are experiencing in our culture due to either highly processed adulteration, chemical alteration, overproduction, and steroid use, and or just over manufacturing. And it is number 1, dairy. Dairy products, milk, cheese, yogurt, sour cream, ice cream, whey protein. More, I know I lost you. Don't turn that dial. Don't switch off your Facebook page. I know I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, but
someone
here's the reality.
Just threw their phone across the room.
I know they did. Yeah. They're like, dang it. And the reality is dairy products is so adulterated, that the FDA allows 750 million bacterial pus cells to be present in a gallon of milk when it's sold to you. And you're thinking, ugh, a pus cell? That just sounds yuck, and then we look at European dairy products. They only allow 350 million pus cells. But, it takes 10 gallons of milk to make a pound of cheese, so that's 7.5 billion pounds of pus cells. Doesn't that sound lovely? And that type of inflammation coming into your body causes your body to literally be congested. Your ears, develop earaches, skin acne. You start seeing the goop in your eyes, running noses, dripping down the back of the throat. You get congestion in your lymph tissue, and your body just feels like ugh. And this is causing your body to, in the knees and the shoulders and the hips, begin to start slowing down and becoming sluggish, and you start feeling pains in these areas. And so dairy products are definitely not our friend. And people, love fighting with me about this. And and I don't know why, they're the ones that are sick and dealing with symptoms, but yet sometimes we love rationalizing bad behavior. And that's okay. Not everybody's there yet, but we're getting them there, right? So a little education at a time. We stand behind it and know it's true. Man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. But if we don't plant the seeds and you don't start researching it yourself, you won't ever know some of where your inflammation is coming from. I had a gal come in yesterday, actually 4 people yesterday. Every time I did your experiment, I got off of the dairy for 2 weeks, and then, just 2 weeks, and I just couldn't go. I was trying to go 30 like you said, but, on day 15, I just had to have me a little slice of something, cheese-wise or whatever, and man, my stomach hurt. Man, my allergies flared up.
Skin broke out. All kinds of stuff can happen. It's all that ice cream and all the other things. It's so good.
Yeah, but man, I had a patient come in yesterday. I was so proud of her. She took our paleo protein, which is a beef collagen protein, mixed it with a half a banana, some cocoa powder, and I think that might have been it. I think there might have been one other ingredient, and she made an ice cream out of it. And she goes, it was and it was flax milk, and that's what it was. And so she got the healthy fat, she got the healthy protein, she got the mineral matrix, the collagen matrix from the protein powder, and she was so thrilled. And she goes, I can never, if I make it around my husband, I got to make double the serving. And so I try to make it when he's not around because I want it to last.
Yeah.
I said, well, you know what? At the end of the day, that's the kind of treat you want to give, right? I have another patient. She would take my protein essentials powder, which is 95% of the amino acid profile of mother's milk, and she would mix it, the chocolate and or the vanilla flavor, to make 2 different styles. But she'll mix it with either really clean gluten-free rolled oats or coconut flakes and the Lily's stevia-based, erythritol-based chocolate chips, and would make almond and or peanut butter, natural almond butter balls, and she calls them protein balls. And she puts them in the refrigerator, and then she pulls them out, and the kids just indulge in these little things, and they taste like a piece of heaven. And the kids are getting a 95% of the amino acid profile of mother's milk, which you have no idea what that does for their brain and development, and their muscle development, and their collagen matrices. And it's a healthy treat that doesn't spike your blood sugar. It rises the blood sugar, then it comes on back down in a healthy way. So that's 2 protein powders that we use in our office that people have leveraged and turned it into a treat and not a foe, right, of the standard cake pops and the ice creams that people are getting access to. So again, there's options there to avoid, the dairy and still feel like you're getting a treat. Then corn products. Corn products are typically, in the United States, probably between 90 and 95%, if not 99 to 100% of all corn products are genetically engineered. And a lot of these genetically engineered products then obviously shift into that high fructose corn syrup model.
Are they making them better?
And they're definitely not making them better.
No.
And so when you Franken-food stuff, it's make-believe. And if you eat make-believe food, the best you'll ever get is
make-believe health.
Make-believe health. I can't say it enough. I want you to really get it, because people believe corn is a vegetable. Is it a vegetable? No, it is definitely not a vegetable. It grows on a stalk. It is a grain. It's good for gasoline and birds, really more for birds, because they have the right anatomy to break that down. But yet we feed this stuff to our cows, which clogs up their digestive tract, and their body starts holding on to toxins, just like you guys. Most people don't realize that when your bowels are clogged up, locked up, your body has got toxins in a holding pattern, and these toxins have to find an exit strategy. They'll go in, or they'll get stored in your brain, and then you can't remember why you walk into a room. That's no fun. Or they get stored in your joints, and you get arthritis, or what I like to call Arthrongus, because there's nothing rightous about it, Gardy. And who wants to be in pain? You know, these inflammatory processes. Remember, when we're building the immune system, we got to reduce the burdens. And you're thinking, man, there's a lot to this. There's more to it than I realized. It's really simple. It's not always easy at first. You got to climb a little mountain. You got to change your attitude towards some of this stuff and recognize if you don't like where you're at, if you're dealing with symptom patterns that we've talked about here on the show, like headaches or hormone problems, or if you've got skin issues, or if you've got mood issues, hormone issues, if you've got sleep challenges, if your body hurts and you were not genetically born in that way and you've developed it over time, you're 27 years old and you feel like you're 80, you're 42 and you feel like you're 77. I mean, gosh, let's change something. Let's recognize that it's your life, it's your health, it's your choice. And this is why we're here, is to be your health and wellness #1 resource, to do and be all that God has called you to be. And it starts with one bite at a time. It starts with your attitude. It starts with just one change of thought. And we want to encourage you guys to keep pressing on and pushing on so that you can live better, be better, and stay better one bite at a time.
So the top 5 inflammatory foods, was that all 5? Or
no,
is that 4?
Man, we still got 3 more to go.
3 more,
My
okay.
gosh, you're just thinking
There's
to yourself.
so many.
It is. And so gluten is the protein found in wheat products. So when we talked earlier about these enriched wheat flours or these refined flours, these are laden with a processed gluten, a hybridized gluten. What they're doing is they're highly processing this stuff, and they're adding extra concentrates, gluten concentrates to our flours that is causing a rapid inflammatory response in our body. And we're seeing more and more people developing or having gluten sensitivities, and that causes reflux, causes indigestion, causes bloating, causes gas, causes skin rashes, causes headaches, causes blood pressures to rise, causes your body to malfunction, and we see cellular inflammation. We've been running quite a bit of these Omega Quant tests in our office, and we see these tests. It's a easy finger prick test. We mail it off inside of 2 weeks. We get the results back, and people's inflammatory burden is so high, and their firefighting department is so low. They don't have enough firefighters to go out and fight the good fight, and therefore their body seems like it never gets well. So if you haven't done one of these tests, they're an easy, affordable test that you can do at our office, and we will help you find a solution. It's very simple, just getting your omegas back in balance. We can help you get there and strengthen those cellular membranes. Those cell membranes are critical because every tissue, every cell, every gland in your body has got a essential fatty acid layer, and we've got to make sure that we're not putting these fake or these inflammatory proteins in that disrupt that membrane. And so soy is our 4th one, and it is, if not 95%, 100% genetically engineered. It's fake food, man. It causes estrogen buildup to be in your body. It disrupts your hormones. It can actually cause your a cell receptor that is normally receptive of the hormone estrogen. It'll sit in that receptor, block the effect of activating that cell, and then cause you to have what's called estrogen dominance. And then you'll see these little red spots pop up. You'll see weight gain. Men will see man boobs and the little pot bellies, and the women's hormones will be yucky, and they won't feel good, and they'll be moody and cranky. And it's just this constant decline. Too much decline, not enough development equals accelerated aging. We don't want you to be there. We want you to be able to sidestep the accelerated aging part so that you live long, longevity. You live energetically, high levels of vim, vigor, and vip, so that you feel great, live great, and be great, so that people around you can be inspired by your lifestyle choices and the way that you live. And yes, I was just approached the other day. Somebody goes, man, I wish I knew what to cook for you. I want to make you this or make you that. And I just don't know how to do it anymore. And they said, well, you just got to follow, the right recipes. We're just doing what we taught. And they go, well, but the problem is I don't have the right book. And then the response back, to that person was, to me was, man, it's comments and threads like this that make it really hard to live the life that I live. And I said, yeah, I know, ... Saying no to poison is so offensive. And it's so sad. I don't want people to feel like, they have to be offensive when they say no to the junk food, make-believe food, fake food. But the reality is it's your life, it's your health, it's your choice, man. If you've got a diagnosis, if you've got a condition, if you've got symptom patterns that you're you weren't genetically born with, that you've developed later in life, you can undevelop it, but you're going to have to make the change. You're going to have to make the decision to live a different way than you have been living. And that sometimes is unacceptable to people, and I get it. People aren't always ready. They're not always. I mean, think how many people Jesus walked past and didn't get the healing. But think of the woman with the issue of blood. She was desperate. She just knew, touch the hem of the garment. Think of the lady that just wanted the crumbs off the master's table. That she knew that the master's table would, just the crumbs alone that the dogs would get would be enough to suffice her spiritually. Think about the lady at the well that, that if the water he provided that would be sustainable and she would never thirst again. Think of just all of those people that got the blessing. Think of the people that didn't get the blessing because of either a lack of faith or a lack of willingness to make a change.
Just trying.
Just being willing to go after something different. If you've done it your way and you've got a result you don't like, don't keep doing it your way. Be open to change. And then last but not least,
I got one quick question about number 4. It's soy, right? So I think that, it was Crystal. She said even edamame. Is edamame soy, or is that okay to eat?
So edamame is soy. And again, you have to know your source. You got to make sure it's not genetically modified. You got to make sure that it comes from a clean source. But here's the deal. If you got into a little bit of edamame at a sushi restaurant and it's not something that you're doing all the time, it shouldn't hurt you, right? And it probably wouldn't hurt you. But here's the deal. It's when you do it day in and day out and you know that you're getting into some of these bars and processed box foods and these things that have high levels of soy protein in there, and you're thinking that that's a plant-based protein that's good for you, but it's genetically engineered, modified. It is an inflammatory food that needs to be avoided like the plague. And so, good question. And I would say that edamame could be an okay thing from time to time as a treat, but probably shouldn't be something that is a mainstay in your diet. And then last but not least, number 5, peanuts. And I know earlier I said about peanut balls, but here's the deal. Make sure that what you buy is organic. Make sure that you know the source. Make sure that it's not loaded with high fructose corn syrup or partially hydrogenated oils. That's what a lot of the peanut butters that we're buying for our kids have. And so as a mom, as a dad, make sure that the peanut butter that you get is not adulterated, that is raw, organic, and as clean as possible, and that's all you can do. But understand, it's one of the most allergenic foods in the nut family. Peanuts, cashews, and pistachios are your top 3 most moldy nuts. And most people don't realize that if you were shucking your own nut, you would not eat near the amount that you consume whenever you get it in peanut butter, or the amount that you would consume when you buy it out of the bulk aisle already shucked.
How do they grow?
And they're like plants. They call it it's the fruit of a plant. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so I would imagine that because of commercialization and industrialization, there's so much of it being grown that it's just like any of the other plants. We're rushing them to the market, not allowing the process to move forward. It's too got genetic engineering in the seed. I mean, these are things that they found that, we can feed the world if we can just get more of it, and instead of letting the seasons of life provide and recognize that, never in history have we even had access to the abundance of the 3, 4, 5 avoid like the plague.
They're everywhere now.
They're everywhere.
On the table, when you sit down, it's already there for you.
And it is. And so we've really just got to appreciate where we're at and moving forward. And so avoiding these foods helps your body reduce the burden that you're carrying day in and day out. And then when we come in with some of these products like we mentioned today on the show, Cataplex AC to rebuild the gut, AF Beta food to decongest the liver, Congoplex to strengthen your immune system, the shakes to give your body amino acids, to give elasticity back to your tissues, the Omega Force to strengthen the cell matrices of your body, to make sure that you're drinking plenty and adequate amounts of water, 32 ounces of water per 50 pounds of body weight. When we go through this, we start seeing that your body will give back to you nutritionally in a way that allows your system to thrive and develop faster than it undevelops or declines. And if you decline too quickly, guess what happens? you're in a state of accelerated aging. So we want to make certain and sure that we're giving the body tools and resources to fuel itself forward, and so that we're developing more than we're declining. And that is exactly how we build a healthy immune system. And then when you get sick, your body is more strategically equipped to deal with it without additional support. But what additional support you give it is like nudging it in the right direction, not forcing it. But we could come in with things like sesame seed oil to manage and support the bone marrow so that you would get adequate white blood cell production to go fight the fever. We come in, or the infection. We come in with Congaplex Thiamex to stimulate T cell production so that we can activate your tissues to go clear infections out of the body and support that immune system so that your body is doing the work. You don't have to drop atomic bombs on your body every time you feel a little ailment in your throat or a tickle or your fever goes up and get on an antibiotic. That's not the answer. Some of these antibiotics that we're using today can cause so much disruption in your body. It could take us 6, 9, 12 months to rehash an immune defense through the damage that it caused. It's just like a hurricane hitting, the East Coast, and it causes disruption. It's just like Hurricane Harvey flooding our town, and still today there's people that are sitting out, several years later from the effects of Harvey. And so some of these things cause so much damage to our cell structure, and if your cells are deranged and declining, your body is not going to be its best. There is a health cost to carrying around that dead weight, and we've got to make sure that we get things moving and grooving on out your body.
Yes, sir. So it's just about 10 o'clock, Dr. Chapa.
I saw it. I'm so sad. I got so much more to say, but guess
what? There's a lot, yeah.
And here's the deal, guys. I mean, I could sit here for days and share, and that's why we're here every week, to give people resources, to give people information so that they can make better choices. It's your life, it's your health, your choice, but you need education. So we want you to share it, like it, help us spread it so that people can get access to this info so that they can live better lives themselves. And everybody's got a story, everybody's got a challenge, and at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, we want to be a health and wellness resources that help you work through the challenges that life is throwing at you. We want to give you a tribe of people that that is going through the process with you so you don't feel alone. And people do feel alone. They feel hopeless when they walk out of doctor's offices with a diagnosis. And we see people just needing hope and encouragement and strength to just take one more step of faith forward. And we can be adjunctive. We can be standalone support because we're not curing, treating, or diagnosing anything. What we're doing is feeding sick bodies. What we're doing is feeding malnourished tissues. We are allowing God's resources to restore function back to ideal health. Doesn't that sound lovely? And then it's not that we are magicians. It's that we're not wizards. We're just offering nourishment, food, resources back to your body so that it can be its best. And so when people come into our office, they find all those things. They find somebody that'll listen. They find somebody that'll give them hope and encouragement. I had a lady yesterday, I didn't bring my food log. You're going to be mad at me? And I'm like, no, we just bring it next time. But we're still going to talk about food. We're still going to give you some ideas on how to change your breakfast and change your snacks. And we're going to give you tools and resources that remind you of the inflammatory burdens that you're carrying that you can avoid. We're going to help you take that next step because the difference between the winners and the losers is
just a step.
One more step, my brother. So at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, we got a lot of great things going on. I'll go ahead and wrap it up. If you do have questions, give us a call, 281-554-8600. We have our Z6 Zerona laser that disrupts fatty acid membranes and causes the fat cell to release toxins, which is right up our alley. We can relieve the body of those toxins, and we can activate healthy metabolism through healthy fat reduction, support your immune system through healthy fat reduction, produce healthy hormones and healthy proteins through healthy fat reduction, and we're not causing any disruption or damage or injury to your fat cells. This is a non-invasive procedure that will allow you to lose inches starting inside of 3 to 4 minutes under the laser. It's a 40-minute treatment total, and the effects last up to 7 days. It is fantastic how this program works. So call our office, 281-554-8600 for more information on the Zerona Z6 laser. And we are offering a promotion for the next couple months to make sure that people can take advantage of this cool, amazing technology that allows you to get rid of that stubborn metabolic fat that you've been fighting to get rid of for years and years. And then last thing, some important dates just to note, we have by the way, that Zerona C6 promo is December 16th. That's going to be whenever that ends. And so you can call for details. And then in the immune class, October 27th. Man, we're 4 days at that point away from the big day when people are going to go, beat their body up with sugar. And we want to make sure that your kids and you do not come down with immune challenges over the new going into the fall, if you will. And we want to support you any way we can. And that immune class is going to teach you some valuable tools and secrets on how to build up your medicine tool chest. Make sure that you have what you need to give your kids, whether it's a chewable, a liquid, a homeopathic, whether it's a something they can swallow, whatever, any way and every way we can get nutrients into you, your family. We've got resources for it. And then last but not least, our chili cook-off, October 29th, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's going to be a clinician chili cook-off. So whose chili would you like the best? And so we're going to find out who's got the best chili recipe. And so we got to start thinking up some recipe ideas ourselves so that we can win that competition. So anyway, this is Dr. Aaron Chapa, Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center. Visit us at justlivewell.com. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, share us, like us, comment about what we're doing, and know that we're here for you. We love you guys. God bless you, and we'll check you later.
This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. It's just after 10 o'clock. It's 10:05 on a Tuesday. Dr. Aaron Chapa is on KHEA Radio every Tuesday, starting at 9 a.m. Put it on your calendar, and you can go back and rewatch those immunity talks that we've been having all month long. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. All right, social media. Y'all be good. Be blessed. And don't forget, you can share this out. And if you really like this talk, maybe it was your first time to tune in to a Chapa Tuesday, go back and rewatch the shows on the past couple Tuesdays because you'll be able to catch up on everything that we've talked about.